Round of applause, everyone. Back it.
Yeah.
Do you know what? I can actually really see that. Like, I can picture you as a butterfly flying around whilst Gimme Back's playing.
Yes.
And but also like whilst See You Soon's playing. So like gliding a bit more, but Gimme Back is like the butterfly flying around in the sunshine with the flowers.
Yeah.
Amazing. Well, when you do the back-to-back shows, I'll be there for every show, by the way. I will be there.
And we'll do an interview.
Oh my gosh, that would be incredible. Yeah. Perfect. Thank you so much for coming on today. It's been an honour. Very excited for your show.
Yes.
This will be out before your show, but I'll definitely let the people know how your show is afterwards.
Yeah.
But yeah, thank you so much.
Bye. Hi, this is Rumbi Tauro, and you're tuned in to After the Applause.
This is After the Applause. Hiya guys, welcome back to After the Applause. This is episode 46, which is actually mad, and I am Saoirse Marie. This is a podcast highlighting and platforming the grassroots, specifically within the north of England in the live music scene, and I am so honoured to introduce our guest this week. This week we have soul fusion artist Rumbi Tauro with us. Rumbi Tauro is of Zimbabwean heritage and grew up in Doncaster, and we got to sit down and talk a lot about how she found her sound, her whole self-discovery through her music journey, which is really interesting, and the amazing trajectory she's had in such a short span of time. So let's just get straight into this interview. I'm so excited for this one. The camera's doing that thing where it loves to turn off when I'm having important conversations. It's actually even doing it right now, which is a bit frustrating, but it doesn't take away from the conversation, which I feel is crucial for everyone's tuning into. First, I want to ask you, what was the first gig you ever went to?
Oh, I can tell you that in a heartbeat. I went to see JLS, right? I had the best time ever. Like, I feel like I'm tearing up as we speak about it. I just couldn't believe it. So it was back in Yorkshire. So I grew up in Doncaster, and it was at Sheffield Arena. So like, already we're going to the big city that's like next to us, going into the arena. And yeah, it was JLS. Aston Marigold pointed at me as he sang one of the songs, and I know it was exactly at me, even though it was probably pointed like above my head. But I took that moment as it was for me. So yeah.
You're from Doncaster originally, and when did you move to Manchester?
I moved in 2021,
Okay.
which that feels like so long ago now. I was never meant to stay here for a long time. The plan was go to Manchester, stay for about a year, then go to London and like go to the big city and blah, 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 blah. But oh my days, I love it here and this is my home now. So yeah.
Amazing. So did you kind of feel like relocating to Manchester was essential for your music career?
100%. You know, like, so my first time moving out of Doncaster was when I went to uni in Birmingham. So I was there until 2018. And when I moved back, I was like really stuck because I'd kind of studied music. I did media and communications and specializing in music industries. And I was like, okay, cool. I spent all this time alongside my younger years, like piano, violin lessons, singing in church. It's like I'd graduated and it's like, now what? I didn't do anything during uni. Like I didn't create. I did like maybe 2 open mics because I was still just trying to find myself in that kind of space of like being outside of education and just being free with your creativity. So when I moved back to Doncaster, that's when I was like, if I don't do something with my music now and actually write something, I just need to let it go because I'm just wasting time at this point. My dad said to me, like, it felt harsh, but it was, you know, it was the nicest thing he could have said to me at the time. He said, you're not creating anything right now in your hometown. What makes you think that when you go to Manchester, you're going to do exactly what you're saying? And I think that made me feel, it just put a bit of spark in my step of like, I'm going to prove you wrong. And not in like, again, in a bad way, but I needed that reminder of like, don't just go to another city and not do anything. Came here, didn't know anyone, still locked down. I moved here February 2021, so I couldn't go anywhere. So I kind of then was like, oh no, this isn't what I planned. I kind of hoped that the live sector would have kicked back in and I could go straight into like open mics and just try to understand what's going on in Manchester. But it took a year for everything to get back to normal. So by the beginning of 2022, that's when I met a few key people that then started to like shape my musical journey here, and not left yet.
That's quite amazing that you kind of took the initiative to move during lockdown as well.
Yeah, crazy.
Was it because of that kind of like kick from your dad that made you think, okay, I need to go now? Or
Yeah. So during lockdown, during 2020 is when I actually started writing. So that whole speech that I was mentioning from my dad, that was way before, that was at the end of 2019. Okay. So 2020 is when I was like, I started writing my EP, and I felt like it was the right time to move during lockdown, because that stillness just really like allowed me to just think and to just dream, I guess. I had nothing else to do. And when I started writing the EP during like April of 2020, that's when I just started to feel like I could actually do what it is that I've always dreamt of doing. Released the EP. I had like my first like radio play from BBC introducing Sheffield, and all of the things that I'd kind of said, oh, maybe all of this will happen in 2 years' time. It just happened straight away. And I think that for me was like, that's because you've actually done something. And now there's things that can actually happen because you've taken the first step. So when that move to Manchester, came up, my friend asked me, oh, like, I'm going to move to Manchester. Do you want to go? And I was like, absolutely not. I'd never live in Manchester. She asked me again, like 6 months later. This is now almost the end of 2020. And I was like, you know what? Like, I think, why not? Like, it'd be nice to move to a new city with someone and just figure out what that looks like. She was a creative as well. She was working in TV and film. So I just knew our household would be creative. It'd be a great space for me to push myself. So yeah, it was crazy. Like, I didn't even get to see my apartment until the day I moved in, because again, the whole way that they started to do viewings, everything just didn't make sense on paper, but it's exactly what needed to happen. And I stand by every decision I made, to be honest.
You spoke about your EP there, The Process, your first EP that you released in 2020.
Yeah.
Your music is described as this journey of self-discovery and resilience and soulful expression. And The Process obviously highlights what phase you were in during that time. Yeah. So what phase of your self-discovery journey would you say you're in right now?
It's like I almost see The Process when I started it. The cover is a butterfly, right? And it's like I wanted to just sonically go through that process of, what is it when a caterpillar turns into a butterfly? Is it metamorphosis?
Is it metamorphosis?
Yes.
Yeah, metamorphosis. Harriet says yes.
Harriet says yes. It's a quick science lesson. When I was recording that part of The Process, I was in like my caterpillar stage. Even though the cover was a butterfly, I think that's where I hoped to be at some point, but I still felt so early on in my discovery and so early on in kind of learning how to express myself through my music, because I think The Process is quite interesting for me, because that is a whole story of like what I'd gone through in terms of like leaving a relationship and just trying to find yourself again. But if you would have asked me to speak about that, I wouldn't. But I was able to write a whole EP about my emotions. So I think I was still early on in understanding that it's okay to be expressive, it's okay to be vulnerable. But now I feel like I'm actually in my butterfly stage. I'm at the stage of like where I was looking at back then. I even had a moment yesterday in the studio where I was just like, wow, like I'm literally doing the things that I've always wanted to do. And sometimes it doesn't, I know it sounds so cliche, like, oh, it doesn't feel like it, blah, 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 but truly, that's life sometimes. It doesn't actually feel like you're living in the dream that you once kind of dreamt of. But I just had this like moment, I was like, wow, I'm literally in the studio recording a song that's going to be out soon, and I'm working I'm working like alongside amazing musicians, and I get to perform this and all these things. I was like, I'm recording a podcast tomorrow, and it's all the little things that you just think, if I would have told myself in 2020 this is what my week looked like, I wouldn't believe it. So I think I'm in my butterfly stage now.
You mentioned there as well, like kind of living your dream, basically. And from the sounds of it, you have had such an amazing trajectory since 2022 and since, putting your music out there and moving to Manchester and having all these amazing opportunities. You've been part of Mobos, you were invited to Mobos the other year. You're working at Abbey Road in Manchester, which is amazing, like one of the first artists in there. And like you said, you had to take a moment, but how do you kind of handle that all? Because I can imagine that sometimes it can feel quite overwhelming at the same time.
Yeah, I think it's a weird one, because I think the beginning, because it's new, right, and it's shiny, for the listeners, for the people that have been introduced to my sound, and for myself, you can feel the buzz a lot more. But I understand now when artists say like the scariest thing is to have a good thing happen, because it's like, oh, what will the next thing be good? Like if you release an album, it's like, okay, well, you know, you hear when people say, oh, album 2 wasn't that great. And it's like, I understand that, because now, for example, working towards like a show again for, you know, in 2 weeks' time, when I first did the show like last year when we performed in January 2024, my first headline show in Manchester, like that felt like it was so easy to sell, because I think because it was a first. But now it's like I'm coming back and it's like, hey, we're back again for a headline show. It's like, I think people just, it almost feels like you become part of the noise, and it's just that people are just, oh, well, there'll be another show, there'll be something else that she does because she's not stopped yet. So I think it within yourself, it's like you really have to tune that inner voice to not associate yourself with numbers, not associate yourself with like your worth being like aligned with how well something does. I think for myself, the thing that's good, right, is the fact that I've created and I've let it go. And anything after that, yes, of course, because I've decided to turn my hobby into my like job, you've got to then, yes, you've got to be business minded, but also still protect your heart at the same time. So I think that's the overwhelming part for me, of trying to understand I'm doing well, understand that things are always going to be different, understand that I need to be present right now, because I'm going to look back and be like, oh, I wish I'd taken that more in at the time. There's always something that I feel like you've just got to have your eye on. But I think the most important thing across it all, I've learned that I need to look after myself and like just trust that God's got everything lined up for me. I don't actually have to prove anything to anyone. I said it yesterday when I was recording, I was like getting in my head a bit about a part I was trying to like do over in my song. And I was like, come on, Rums, it's you versus you. Like there's literally I'm not trying to prove myself to anyone, you know? So I think that's the part that's overwhelming, just making sure you're looking after yourself and enjoying it.
Yeah, I think that self-awareness that you have during this whole process is probably what helps you kind of survive in a way.
Literally, because it's harsh. It's a harsh industry, but you can't let that... I feel like if I worked in finance, it'd be hard. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think sometimes because people think it's music or it's a creative thing, that it'll be easy. It's like, no, it's still a job. It's still hard, but you just got to find your reason why you're doing it and just remind yourself of that and keep going.
Let's talk about your sound a bit. I read on your website that you've been described to kind of carve your own lane in the UK soul landscape. So what makes your lane unique?
I feel like we've just got this really like cool, like soul, poppy, funky sound going on at the moment that like, if I think, okay, cool, have I heard this right? If we're talking about mainstream, have I heard this right now being played on radio? No. I feel like it's like branching in between the streams of like what Olivia Dean's doing and what Ray's doing. It's like their sound right now is so different and it's so fun and it's so easy on the ear. But then if you really want to like sit down and study it, you can study the ways that they've done certain things. And I feel like my music at the moment, I feel like I've just got there's just this stream of like, whether it's a fast or slow song or somewhere in the middle, it's just this like easy on the ear vibe that you can like hopefully connect to. I think right now my sound feels like a mature version of what I was doing when I started with like my early songs like Take Care and a little bit of like Lost. It's like those are the songs that I feel like I've stood on the shoulders of to create what I'm doing now. There's a lot more freedom with my music. I think I've understood that I can actually make whatever I want, and that's the beauty of right now of being independent and being able to just say yes or no to whatever I create and not having to work to a brief, not having to do what anyone says. It's like, this is how I felt in the moment, or this is just what happened after a little jam session with the band, and we've got this song now and it's fun and it's funky, and you know, so I think that's just where I'm at right now with the sound.
How did you kind of discover this about your sound? Was it just kind of picking from various elements of music that you enjoy, or?
Funnily enough, no. Like before a studio session, I'd play like a playlist of songs I've been listening to or like artists I love. And that's actually really unhelpful because then I'd like when I was starting the session with like listening to all these songs and I'm like, I don't know what to do now, you know, because it's like it's like, what are we listening? Yes, for inspiration, but now it feels like I'm trying to just compile everything I've heard to create something. So now it's like going into a session with like only my ideas, and it's like, okay, cool, this is, you know, working with like my crazy chaotic voice memos. That then I've got a musical director called Sam Allen, and he is incredible, and he's really allowed like my music to just have, I think, more of a story. I'm very like, all my songs I've written myself in terms of lyrics. About 80% of my songs I've just put together a couple of chords on the piano, and then the new ones over the last year and a half, I'll come up with lyrics, I'll then put a few chords together, then I'll send it to Sam, or it's the next session that we've got together, I'll share it with him. And now, because he's literally like a musical mastermind, he then adds all the things that I can't, because all my like chords are just like 4 chords. That's it. That's as far as it goes. That's the foundation. And then we build on that. So I think having that direction then of someone that can elevate it, that's how the songs have been made. It's literally something I've experienced, something I've gone through, or something that I've seen someone else go through. I'll write that, put chords together, will then elevate the sound. And then it's just this thing that's created. And actually that process has been way better than my early years of going on YouTube, finding a tight beat and trying to write to that, because now I'm following what that's doing. Now I get to just follow what I'm doing.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of like having a musical director as part of your team now,
yeah,
I mean, I'm not an artist, but I can imagine, well, my question is kind of like, how did you find it when you first started working with him? Because I can imagine when you first start working with like a musical director like that, you maybe worry that it's not fully your sound because someone else is kind of like not taking over, but advising you in a way.
Like overseeing it.
Yeah. So how was that when you first started working together?
I think it's similar to when I first had to take the step from performing live by myself to then finding a band. That was both processes were really tricky for me because it's an element of trust, right? It's like with anything, with work, bringing on someone onto your team. It's like, okay, I'm hoping that you'll be able to take on the vision and the heart of what I've been doing so far and just take that further. But that only comes with time, I think. I think from the early start of working with him and also like with my band, it's like you've got to just trust it'll be fine, and then you assess as you go. It's like, oh, actually, for example, maybe I know a lot of artists that have musical directors, they won't be part of their kind of early on rehearsals. So the band will meet together with the musical director, and the artist will come probably after session 2 or 3 of rehearsals. I want to be there for it all. For now, anyway, while I've got the time and capacity, I want to be there. If I've got other things to do, I'd understand why I couldn't be there. But I think it's just, you know, you find what works best for you and then you kind of work on that. And also there's things that will be needed of you as an artist, and it's delivering that. So when the band are asking me for a set list, I need to give them a set list. It's not me taking an extra week or 2, because that's now chewing into time that they could be preparing and rehearsing, and everyone, and that, you know, that determines how comfortable people feel at a show or a studio session. I now can't look around and say, why was no one prepared if I didn't prepare them, you know? So I think it's just finding what works best it was us finding what works best for us and just keeping on with that, and also finding ways to improve. We look at artists that we love like all the time and just see what are they doing, how are they doing it? Okay, cool. What can we do on our level to like elevate, you know, the sound and whatnot. So, yeah.
Okay. Speaking of your band, you've built a very strong band to elevate your music. How has it elevated you as an artist?
They are scary. Genuinely, like there's like times at rehearsals where it's like, oh, I really need to sing well. Because it's like I can't be the one that's bad, you know? Like, it's like if they're playing that well, it's like the whole iron sharpens iron. Like, I have to be good. So I think that has like having them on, you know, as part of the sound has really elevated not just my live, it's now seeing how I record with them now, you know? And that is like, wow, we're really creating this sound together. Like, if you take them out of the equation, it's like, well, what then, you know? It's just been amazing to just grow alongside musicians that care about what they do. Like, they love music, and that's all I want. I was saying this to someone the other day, that like, if a random guitarist came up to me and was amazing, right? Like, that's cool. But like, for me, it's all about like relationships and like that comfort. Like, music is such a vulnerable thing for me when I'm creating, and like even rehearsals, it's like, it's messy and we're trying to figure out what works, and you know, I might go off key for a second, or they might mess up for a second or whatever. And I think it's creating that space that feels safe. So if a random person wanted to come on board, it's like, yeah, cool, you might be talented, but like, we have to be able to spend a lot of time with you. Before a show, you're getting there at 4 p.m. to load in, do your sound check. The show's not till 9 p.m. And imagine you're doing that like on a circuit, you're spending a lot of time with people. So I think you've got to make sure that you're creating a work environment that feels safe and everyone feels like they can add something to the situation, you know?
Yeah. You've got your headline show coming up, So Far So Good.
Yes.
Why did you pick Band on the Wall? You know, I know you've played at Blues Kitchen, incredible, and you've played at Yes.
Yeah.
So why Band on the Wall?
Do you know what? I feel like there's just this history of Band on the Wall since I arrived to Manchester. It was on my list of just like venues that were like dream venues, and like, it took so long to get that first yes. And then like, once we got the yes of like being able to perform there, I think it was the end of 2022, it was like a random, like, it was called like Thursday Night Live with Rumbi Tauro. Like, it was just I think I had like a 40-minute set or something. Like, when we got that first yes, it was like, we're in, you know, and I've really grown as an artist in that venue, and I'm not done yet. I'll be done when we do the main room. And even when we do the main room, we'll come back for a reunion performance and do like 3 nights back to back. Do you know what I mean? I feel like it's just that for me has been a venue that I can really mark my growth, just to see where I'm at in the journey. So it made sense for the 5-year anniversary just to be like, okay, this is where we're at, setting my stakes still in Manchester to say, yeah, we're here and we're growing and we're doing it. And so far, it's been so good.
What can we expect from this headline show?
It really is a show that celebrates past, present, and future. Like, and not just of me. It's like of artists that I've, that I admire, or they've had some input into my life, like creatively. So it's a night of just a full band, full sound. There'll be highs, there'll be lows, there'll be moments of reflection for yourself as a listener in the audience. There'll be moments of just like, I want this to be something that people leave feeling like, they've closed off the year and we're ready to start the next year together. And it's like just a moment to celebrate the sound, music, each other, and and just see how the night unfolds. You can plan as much as you want, but live is live. And when you're in the room, that's the experience. You can't plan that.
What is your purpose as an artist, and what is your main message? What do you want people to understand about Rumbi Tauro and your music?
Okay. Still figuring out the overall like destination with my creativity and my I guess my purpose. But I think so far it's just being a vessel. Like, I think being a vessel in the spaces that I'm in, of like, okay, cool, if you have something that you want to achieve, like you can. And I think I always used to hate when artists would be like, when they win a Grammy and like, if you're like a young artist and you're seeing me right now, like you can do this one day. And I'm doing that on my level now. Do you know what I mean? When I get to be around young people and I get to go into like schools, or like at the end of a performance and someone comes up to me to say, a little child comes up to me and say, oh, like, how did you do what you've just done, and how can I do that? It's like, okay, but you don't need to wait till you're my age. You can do it now. And I think my purpose right now is just to show people that, like, whether you're, whatever, insert that bracket, whatever you are, wherever you're from, you can do whatever it is you want to do. You just got to start with what you've got and just grow with that. And I hope that will be my message forever, really. But I think just always understanding like your why as to why you want to do the thing you want to do, and that will genuinely take you to levels that you could have never imagined. And what you think you want, like, yeah, you'll get that, but there's so many other things, around that will come along the journey, that will really inspire you. Like my final point, I think I love I always see this image of like how like, you can pray, like for myself, I'm a Christian, right? And like I'll pray and I'll say, God, I just pray for this. I'm just hoping for this, right? And it's like I'm asking for just this one rose. I'm asking for this one thing, but actually what he wants to give me is like the biggest like bouquet of flowers you could have ever imagined in your life, and then some. And I think that's the beauty of like why I'm grateful that whatever I'll ask for, I could get that, but actually that there's someone else that's in charge and is overseeing everything. So yeah, it's always going to end up being okay.
So if people watching have adored you, loved everything you've said, and want to keep not in contact, but keep up to date with what you're doing, where can they find you? You
can find me on my website, rumbitauro.com. I'm going to be opening up a mailing list before the year ends. I need to do it. So yeah, rumbitauro.com for everything. Because Instagram goes down, then what? But while it's still up, you can find me on Instagram as well, Rumbi Tauro, and Facebook if anyone is still using it. Please don't follow me on Snapchat.
You've got something in your hands that belongs to me.
What I got from this overall conversation with Rumbi is that she's so self-aware, and this music journey is also a journey of self-discovery for her. And as she's growing, she's kind of surrendering more to the journey, and that surrender allows her to kind of be present and appreciate everything that is happening throughout her journey. And I love how she wants to be involved in everything from the start to the end, with her band, with her music director, and it definitely makes her a lot more authentic and human and accessible, which I really love. Rumbi is performing her headline show at Band on the Wall next Thursday. If you're in Manchester, you definitely need to get down to that. It's going to be incredible. She's got such a wonderful voice, and if you don't have Rumbi on your playlist already, what are you doing? I also found it interesting that Rumbi's dad was kind of the instigator for her to kind of kickstart her music, and it's amazing to see the trajectory she's had in such a short space of time, which clearly shows the talent that she has. And I mean, thank you to her dad, because if it wasn't for her dad, maybe she wouldn't be doing what she's doing right now, and she wouldn't be in Manchester. It's interesting to hear that she felt like she needed to move out of Doncaster in order to pursue her music career, but we're so glad that she did. Thank you so much to Rumbi for joining me on today's episode. It was so great to share your story and get an insight into your character a bit more, and I'm so excited for your show, A Band on the Wall, next Thursday. Thank you, loyal listeners, loyal viewers, wherever you're watching or tuning into the episode. I'm so grateful for you all, as always, and we've only got a few more episodes till we hit 50, which is crazy. But yeah, I'll see you all next week. Bye!